What's up everybody, Gamble here, bringing you the latest tips, tricks, and news in Pokemon Go PvP. And this video is brought to you in part by Chipotle. Get in quick to try their new carne asada, available only for a limited time. They're not actually sponsoring me, I am just trying to get them to. I freaking love Chipotle. Anyways, in this video, we are trying out the new generalist on the block, Zweilous. Zweilous? Zweilous? Zweilous. No, I think it's Zweilous. I would be doing more Ferocious Cup content, but I'm just having the hardest time justifying powering up any of these Pokemon. I like to think that I go pretty hard compared to most people, but I feel like this is gonna be the only time that I'm ever gonna use any of these Pokemon, and Stardust is so scarce. I don't know. It's coming soon, I promise. But of all the Pokemon that I did power up, I did actually power up a Zweilous that I was able to trade for pretty decent PvP IVs for. I was pretty stoked to get a rank 123 Zweilous that I was able to trade for, and I powered up thinking that dragons would be eligible for this cup. So, as a result of my Ferocious Cup indecisiveness and me acting upon failed predictions, you get the opportunity to take a look at the rare, the highly anticipated, the scary, dark dragon type monster thing, Zweilous. I keep saying Zweilous, but it's Zweilous, right? Zweilous. Now, at first glance, I was a little skeptical because that 4x weakness to fairy type moves, and it picks up that weakness to the fighting type Pokemon, which might very well be the first choice as an attacker in Open Great League. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. This thing is really fun to use, and if you have the right coverage for it to protect it, it could turn out quite well for you. Now, I've got 3 examples here for you about using Zweilous in different roles, different positions. Let's see how those turned out. Now, I do want to give a shout out to the Jade Rabbit from the Pokemon Go Radio Podcast Discord. Thank you so much for helping me out with these battles. Now, first I want to take a look at Zweilous as the lead, and we get pit up against Kingdra, which that wasn't planned, but I am actually glad that it came out because Zweilous feels a lot like Kingdra, in the sense that they're both using the same fast attack move, but Zweilous has that advantage when he's picking up those fast body slam moves, which are either going to take out those shields from Kingdra, or you're gonna end up beating them and taking the advantage in the match. Now, seeing how this match comes down to the wire here, I can say pretty confidently that in the one shield scenario, this is a pretty IV dependent match. But I opt not to shield this one because that outrage versus that little slim bit of health left, it's not worth it. I'm glad that I got a shield off of it with that body slam. When it comes down to it in this matchup, I think I am actually gonna give the win to Kingdra just because Kingdra does have to shield that body slam in order to survive the matchup, but you're not really gonna shield an outrage when it comes down to that little sliver of health just to maybe get off another body slam. But I do think that Zweilous is a better generalist than Kingdra is. Not only that, but I think that Zweilous is a better lead than Kingdra is, but let's talk about it. Now, in this matchup, it kind of sucks because they don't really get a chance to shine since they're both taking super effective damage from potentially the best fast attack move in the game. But as a generalist and as a lead, I think Zweilous is better than Kingdra for 2 reasons. Kingdra takes neutral damage from almost everything, so I guess it's a pretty safe bet, but you're not actually looking to hard counter anything. Zweilous, on the other hand, does have a couple more weaknesses that are pretty relevant, but it does have a bunch more resistances than Kingdra does, which can come in handy even though it is a little bit more high risk. But I mean honestly, what's PvP without a little risk? So I do think that the first thing that Zweilous has over Kingdra is that it has a more interesting typing that you can use in more situations than you can with Kingdra. The second reason that I think Zweilous is better than Kingdra as a generalist is obviously because of that sick moveset. Using Zweilous feels very much like Kingdra, but it plays a little bit also like Vigoroth. Like, if Kingdra and Vigoroth had a PvP baby, Zweilous would basically be the product of that. I mean, I guess that really wouldn't be all that possible, because Kingdra's a seahorse, and male seahorses are the one that carry the baby, so two males, it just wouldn't work. But with that moveset, Zweilous is able to get off a lot more body slams in a normal matchup. It wasn't only able to get one against Kingdra, but against just about any other Pokemon, you would be able to get off multiple body slams and potentially catch more shields off of it. In that matchup, Kingdra was able to get off an Outrage, but against just about any other matchup, Kingdra would still only be able to get off one Outrage at the most. So against each other, the matchup is kind of a wash. Goes a little bit towards Kingdra because you don't want to waste a shield on the end of it. But as a lead, I do think Zweilous is better against anybody else that you might go up against. Now we saw Zweilous as a lead, now let's take a look at Zweilous as a switch-in. In this matchup, I decided to start off with Skarmory, and he decides to start with Swampert, which is a problem for me because Skarmory is going to take that heavy neutral damage from that powerful Hydro Cannon. So I switch out like I know what I'm doing, and I take resisted damage from that Swampert. Now in a straight up matchup, Zweilous will actually lose in this matchup if you're able to bait the Hydro Cannon with the shield and hit an Earthquake on it. Because who's gonna survive an unshielded Earthquake? But because Zweilous is hitting Swampert with that high DPS fast move and getting off those body slams super quick, Swampert is gonna have to shield if it wants to survive this matchup. So in this matchup and roll, Zweilous executes its job perfectly by busting my opponent's shields and leaving the door wide open for a Defense Deoxys and a Skarmory in the back. And these first two rolls I think are the best ways to use Zweilous. As a lead and as a switch-in, whenever there are shields still existing, Zweilous is a great way to clear through those Pokemon with the high DPS and the shield busting capabilities. These first two examples is how you appropriately use Zweilous, because it by no means is a hard-hitting home run high DPS Pokemon. It's just not something that works best as a closer. In the one shield scenario, Zweilous beats 78% of the Pokemon in Open Great League, which is ridiculous. Even Altaria, that's ranked number 1 in Open General Great League, only wins against 75% of all the Pokemon in the one shield scenario. Now, I'm definitely not saying that Zweilous is better than Altaria, because the losses that Zweilous takes is to a lot of very meta-relevant Pokemon, but the point is that its capabilities in the one shield scenario, whenever it is there and it's surviving, it has a lot of capability to take down your opponent even when shields exist. Now, I've already said it, the role of Zweilous is to be that opener or switch-in type of role to make sure that you can take down those opponent shields or take down Pokemon so you can whittle them down. But as my final example, let's take a look at how Zweilous operates as a closer. In this matchup, I decide to go with Vigoroth as my lead, and he chooses Lapras. So this is a favorable matchup for me because I'm getting those super effective damage with those counters, and I get to get off those body slams super fast. Since I'm not using Zweilous for this role, I do have to use another Pokemon in order to bust those shields for the end to better demonstrate Zweilous as a closer. So really this is kind of a strategy specifically to demonstrate Zweilous. I am able to pick up one shield, I think, with that body slam. Yes, there it is, because he's probably coming up real close on a charged move here pretty soon, and there it is. Yep. I do use one of my shields so that I can keep Vigoroth alive. I want to make sure that I'm taking down that last shield with a body slam. So coming out into my Vigoroth, what does he send in? A Skarmory. Now, not a great matchup for me, but it doesn't matter because Vigoroth has already done its job. It took down the first Pokemon. I get to see what's up next, and that body slam is not going to be causing super effective damage, but I am so psyched that I'm able to get off yet another body slam, which is pretty dope. He's not going to shield it. He shouldn't shield it. But I do get to take down that Skarmory down to half health with my second Pokemon. I'm going to come in with a Azumarill, and I'm just going to do what I can to take him down. I am not going to shield anything coming out of this thing, because that is not the point here. I want to take down Skarmory and see what he has in the back to bring my Zweilous into. So I'm chipping away here, getting that Ice Beam off for the neutral damage, and I think he shields this one if I remember correctly. Yes, there it is. Okay. He will be able to get off one Sky Attack here, and it's not quite gonna KO me, but I think it's gonna bring me down low enough to where I'm not able to get off another Ice Beam. At the very least, I will be able to get off a couple of bubbles, but let's see here, it's coming down to the wire. Dang it. Okay, I probably would have been able to get off another Ice Beam if I wasn't rocking like a 96% Azumarill. I'm gonna get a better one eventually, but that one was taking me out. I come in with my Zweilous, and I'm able to take him down right away, coming into a Steelix. This is a problem for me because I am causing resisted damage with my fast attack, and I'm only able to cause neutral damage back at that Steelix with the Dark Pulse. Now, that is one option that you have as a hard-hitting fast move. You can also go with Dragon Pulse, but I wanted to get some coverage, I wanted to get a little bit more diversity, so I went with Dark Pulse, which was a good situation for me in this one. Now, if you see that Steelix that ran that Crunch, if you were counting the fast moves, you saw that they could have had an Earthquake up to that point. Now, normally, Steelix would be able to take me down with that Earthquake. I'm not sure if they were just baiting the shield out here, because they threw another Crunch right after there. But I was able to take this Pokemon down using just Dark Pulses. It does have decent neutral damage that can come out of it, and there's not a lot that will resist it. But it's not your ideal closer situation. Any Pokemon that comes up against Zweilous at the end of the match is likely going to take it if there are no shields in play. Now, Zweilous isn't completely useless at the end of the match. It can still hit some neutral damage against most Pokemon, but it's not your ideal closer, and it's not really the job of Zweilous. So I wouldn't recommend putting him back there or using him in that role. There are a lot of Pokemon that are very powerful closers, and if Steelix would have landed that Earthquake on me, then it would have been GG. That would have been game right there, and he would have taken it. Looking at my Zweilous here at face value, it looks pretty bulky. At 140 HP, that's not nothing, but if you look at its stats, it only has about 110 defense, which is not much to back it up. Now, Zweilous does have a pretty dope attack stat. Mine is sitting at about 121, which is a little bit above average, and I'm thinking that as far as stat product goes, Zweilous sits like kind of pretty much above average. I think that's how I would describe it. I've gotta say that I was pleasantly surprised at how Zweilous interacts in open general Great League. People, I think, often forget that those dragon types resist the starter elements, the fire, the grass, the water, and the electric types, and it picks up resistance with that dark typing to the ghost type attacks. So the typing is really strong on this Pokemon. But as I've said at least 3 times throughout this video, it does have a lot of key weaknesses to a lot of very relevant Pokemon in the meta. And then the moveset is everything that I would have asked for on a Kingdra, but with a better typing. It is so cool that Zweilous has a high DPS fast move, can shield bait with those body slams, and actually has a charge move that can cause decent neutral damage against a lot of Pokemon. And on top of all of that, it actually has above average stats with a pretty good attack stat and some arguably decent bulk behind it with that high HP, even though it's not backed up with any substantial defense. Zweilous is a good Pokemon. Like, it's so unique the way that it is built, with that Dragon Breath fast attack causing that high DPS damage, but still able to get off charge moves like crazy with those body slams. It's just an amazing shield busting Pokemon with awesome stats and really interesting, useful typing. I like this Pokemon a lot, and my opinion of it has improved since before I started this video. I really like this Pokemon, and I hope that it is eligible for a tournament sometime soon before it stops becoming rare, because I have a decent one that I'm very happy with, and I'm too excited to use it. I mean, maybe that'll happen unless Sylph comes up with some kind of cup next week, like the Amphibians Cup. I mean, that's a joke, but it probably will actually happen, because I think this cup is clear that Sylph has been thinking about other metas that fit different themes other than the systematic typings that we're used to. So, I don't know. We'll see, but you will for sure know that I will be excited as soon as a cup comes out where Zweilous is eligible. But anyways, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button and the subscribe button with the bell notification so you don't miss anything. And let me know in the comments section what Pokemon you have already decided to power up for the Ferocious Cup that you think are going to be useful for future uses outside of just Season 2 of Sylph. Seriously, please do that, because I have very little idea about what I actually want to power up for this cup. I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you on the battlefield.